Hello, hello guys, and welcome back. If you're watching this on YouTube, Gemma has been an idiot. If you're not watching it on YouTube, you will not understand.
We're in HD, they can see how I actually look now.
Why I'm laughing so bad. Yes, we are in such a good quality of video now because I have got my light on, I have set up my new camera properly, it's all working 100% beautifully, and Gemma is taking the most of this session to wind me up with it.
Right, my highlight looks so good. Jeffree Star who bitch.
Anyway, getting on to today's podcast. I've said recently that I've been trying to get Gemma to watch Monster. We have finally got to the end of it. So let's get into it. Our review on Monster.
Spoiler alert.
As I said before in the previous podcast, I love it. You didn't feel the same though, did you?
I give it a solid 5 out of 10.
Really? Really?
Right, I enjoyed it at the beginning. I enjoyed it at the end. You lost me in the middle. I think I paid more attention to Facebook than I did to the anime.
I know you did. I know, because it was starting to bug me. Every time something serious was happening, you was like, do you want to have a look at this? I was like, you do realise that you've just missed a big serious thing. Well, I've only missed 2 episodes. Really?
It was really slow going. There was just a lot.
I know it's slow starting, but then once it gets into it, a lot happens, a lot of characters come into it. And obviously, come the end, they're all very relevant characters as well.
Yeah, I guess like the character development and stuff is really impressive.
Oh yeah, that's another thing as well, the character developments. I cannot tell you another anime where the development of characters are that good.
But it was because it was quite long-winded. You'd have hoped in all that time that you'd have some decent character development.
Yeah, it was just like the changes in people as well. Like you got to see so many people changing over time. Like Johan was forever changing.
You kept making me think there was going to be like these massive twists at any point, and I didn't really feel like there were any twists.
It's just all the breakdown of Johan. It was just like
He's a messed up kid. That's it.
But he was just all this time like he's so certain on what he's doing, and all this stuff happened to him as a kid that he's so certain of it, and then it turns out it wasn't him that it was happening to. It was basically just like a story that had been told to him that he's reliving, and he doesn't actually know what's real anymore. And then it's like his plan was constantly changing because his memory was constantly changing. And
why was he even dressed as his sister in the first place?
I think it was that whole thing of wanting to be her.
So what, she was like the favourite child and he was trying to be Nina?
Yeah, I feel like that, yeah.
He's messed up, man.
And then it was that whole thing at the end, like, they'd finally unveiled everything, and then it got to the end, and it was like, but when they gave the child away, was it the wrong one because they look identical? Did they mean to give away Johan instead of Nina? And then
no, they gave Nina instead of Johan, you mean?
No, they meant to give Johan, that's what I'm saying. Did she mean to give Johan instead of Nina and she just got it wrong? Or in the panic? Or just...
I'm like, this kid's messed up. You can have him.
So it's that whole thing, like, did she get it wrong? Did she like, oh, they both look identical. That one. And she meant...
I don't know why you would say to take either of them. I think I would hold on to my kid until they forcibly took them off me.
But exactly at the end of the day, took both.
They said they needed to take one because it was part of the experiment.
But then, if you'd have gone, well, I'm keeping both kids, they'd just been like, okay, I'm going to shoot you, and let's have both.
I don't know. I think if they were going to shoot her, they'd have shot her a long time ago.
I don't know, it was... Either way, I loved it. I loved the story of it. Granted, hang on, I've got a sneeze coming. There we go. Granted, in some places it was a little bit long-winded in places. But, for the long run, I thought it was brilliant. What are you Googling now?
Because I'm pretty sure this twin stuff was an actual experiment that happened.
Really?
Yeah. Well, similar. It was in Nazi concentration camps.
So Germany.
Yeah.
So it's based on a true story.
It was on the prisoners. Has it got his name on here? There was one guy who mainly did it.
Was it Johann?
No. But they would basically, it was, because I watched a video, there's a woman who survived it, but her twin didn't. And she was telling all about what they used to do to him, because they would experiment on twins, because they wanted to show similarities and differences between genetics.
Right.
You know, the whole nature versus nurture and stuff.
Yeah.
So they performed experiments on nearly 1,500 sets of twins in Auschwitz.
Wow.
That's his name, Joseph I can't even say it. Mengele, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not Johann.
No. But so yeah, it was.
Franz Bonaparte.
No. But they did all sorts of experiments on them. It was pretty horrific.
So it's almost based on a true story, but taken to that Japanese thing, obviously with Tenma and all that. It's taken with that Japanese style a bit as well.
Well, this was after World War II. It was set, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe the experimentation was still going on at that point.
Maybe.
Because clearly, like, I think that must be where they've taken it from, and that would explain why it's set in Germany.
Yeah, definitely. That explains a lot of different stuff that goes on in it as well, and the whole thing with Czech as well. Which, yeah, that's definitely interesting. That's something I've not even made the connection with.
Well, I like my
We're
history
watching it.
about World War II, and when we were watching it and they kept talking about all these twins bred for experiments, I kept thinking, I'm sure that's real.
That's something I've never even thought of. Obviously, I've watched it twice now, and I've never even really picked up on that.
You're not a historian. But yeah, the video is really interesting on YouTube if you watch it. I can't remember what she's called, but she says basically everything they used to do to them.
Might have to check that out at some point. But, I mean, that just adds one extra layer to it of all these, in real life, all these kids that they was experimenting on, could they have all become like Johann? Messed up, deranged serial killers, essentially.
Well, there's a lot of stuff where, as a kid, if you experience high levels of trauma, it's going to do something to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, obviously it was different for everyone, though, wasn't it? Because you had, I just want to call him Steiner, but it's not Steiner.
Grimmer.
But obviously he had that, like, this split.
Yeah, the split personality thing. Yeah.
Whereas Nina and Johann didn't seem to have that.
No, I think it's because he was brought up, basically stuck in front of that TV, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like they were doing different things to them all.
Yeah, there was different things they did to each person.
And it makes me wonder if it was experiments on twins, then maybe where was Grimmer's?
I think it was a small idea was the twin thing, but I don't think...
But it was just generally babies from couples.
Yeah, general experimentation. Testing on the young.
Well, it was couples, wasn't it? They picked a mother and a father that they wanted to make a baby.
Yeah.
It was all designed that way.
Yeah, definitely.
But they never actually mention what it is that they're looking for.
Just to create the perfect person, I think.
I know, but what did they look for in the parents to do that?
I suppose I didn't actually mention that, no.
I mean, maybe it's the whole idea of Aryan children, because, I mean, Nina and Johann were blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah.
Grimmer's blonde hair, blue eyes. Like,
yeah, I think if you looked at the picture that they put up as well, I think all of the fathers were
military.
Yeah.
And most of the mothers looked to be blonde.
Yeah, so maybe it was that whole military expertise versus the...
Well, it was Hitler. He
blue-eyed
wanted an
blonde.
Aryan master race.
Yeah.
If you create loads of Aryan children that are bred to be soldiers,
Yeah.
that's the perfect army.
I suppose that's what they was going for then. Which...
You really do have to look at some history, I think, and it starts to make sense. And the fact it's set in Germany is kind of obvious then.
Which makes... Now you've pointed that out, makes me like it more that they've actually put the research and the time into it to kind of come up with this elaborate plot of who knows that if there was someone like Johan being tested on, who's to say that we wouldn't have had that in real life of
We
some
did.
crazy. Well,
Most of them died. That's the problem.
well,
But you don't know. Like, there could have been, because obviously it was a long time ago now. The World War II. There's not a lot of people left who lived through that.
but I'm pretty sure we'd have noticed if there was a guy that killed half of Germany.
Turns out good he is. And it was France actually who had, it might not be real, but the whole monstrum thing. Unless Germany had something similar, a big serial killer. I don't know. No one really knows what they were doing these experiments for. Even the woman whose video I watched, she didn't know what they were doing it for. She could just say what they were doing.
Maybe that's the whole thing with Monster as well, and there's these questions that are still unanswered because even they don't know why they were doing all this testing.
Yeah.
You can always speculate like we're doing now, but I suppose you don't fully know the answers to it.
I think there's probably a lot of dark crap going on that we don't know about.
Probably. Either way, I really enjoyed Monster. There's two different things that we talk about it in every one of these, but we just spoke about the story, which I thought was fantastic. You gave it a 5 out of 10 because
That was harsh.
It is, but
I mean, maybe I don't know, 7. It was a good story, good concept. I just found myself getting a little bit bored because I don't think a lot of things really surprised me.
yeah, it's just, I wouldn't say it was surprising, but there was a lot of twists in the story of like, oh god, there's yet another layer to this. It was just like there was always one more thing with it.
I think that was my problem though. It was kind of a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand that, but
And it's really hard to like keep track of everyone.
yeah. I mean, there were days as well where I was at work and would not even watch it for like 5 days, so I suppose to keep up with it, it's tough when you're not watching it for a few days.
Yeah, because
as
like
well.
we'd go back to it and I'd be like, what's happened?
But moving on to the other two parts I wanted to talk about, the art style, very, very Western.
Yeah, but it's appropriate.
But again, it had to have been that. For it fits perfectly. The realism of all of it. With like, if you had that Japanese style, Johan would not be as menacing.
No, because everyone would have massive eyes and bright coloured hair and like...
Exactly, it wouldn't, even without the bright coloured hair, it wouldn't be as menacing with just like the facial features the way that it's like,
No,
the big eyes
Western
and,
was definitely appropriate for this.
Whereas-
It wouldn't have worked with Japanese.
yeah, whereas to see Johan in that Western style as a realistic character, you're like, Jesus Christ, it's just a normal psychopath.
Yeah. And the way his face like never even moves.
Yeah. I mean, the art style I thought was perfect for it. The only other problem, and this is where I do say that there is a problem with, is the voice acting. Granted, some of it was fine, but there was other parts of it which was a little bit weak. Certain places it was definitely weak.
Johan was pretty dog on.
Johan was, I'd say, most of the main people
Yeah, it's
were.
the main characters, but I noticed with a lot of like the tiny one-liners or
In
whatever,
fact,
it was a bit like...
I'm going to remind her of something now. Was it the British couple?
That was horrendous. You could tell it wasn't British people doing it. That they were trying to be British. and
Overly
it was
British.
Awful.
Overly British.
All right, my love. And it was like they were having to think about it before they said it. It was really like they were trying so hard to do the accent that there was no emotion.
And that's just it. I mean, they was only in it for 1, maybe 2 episodes.
Yep.
But, so you've got Tenma, you've got Johan, you've got Nina, even Grimmer, and hell, even Lunge, who was a bit weird and a bit quirky, but it fitted to his character, I suppose. And they were all like big voice actor things that it worked for the character, it really played along. But then all of the little side characters that was only in it for an episode or 2
Garbage.
was, yeah. I won't say garbage, to be fair.
That English couple was garbage.
Yeah, definitely that one. But the rest of them were just a bit... It's like the extras from EastEnders, where they're in the background, nobody cares, and it's not very good.
One that I noticed was the nun right at the end, where she said something like, "Oh, Dr. Temmer, you've come to visit us again. Thank you." It was very like, I'm reading my script now, and I'm only in it for 2 seconds, so I'm not going to try.
Yeah, exactly, that was just it. There's a few nothing
and I
characters.
Swear, the kids, what's his name, the little boy? Dieter and the other boy that they were with at the end, the drunk son. I'm pretty sure they used the same voice actor.
I'm pretty sure they used the same art style. They just drew the same character. They were
exactly the same in different clothes.
Yeah. Because there was a point where I was watching it going, why is Dieter here? It's not Dieter.
No.
Oh yeah.
They even sound the same.
Yeah.
So it's a bit lazy in places, to be honest.
But the amount of people that was in it, you can't just keep giving them different voice actors. I mean, there was a few people that were voiced by the same people. You could tell. What was her name? Ava. She was voiced a few people. You could tell.
Yeah, because I kept hearing her voice come up a lot.
Yeah, I think she voiced quite a lot of other characters.
Yeah.
And I think there's quite a few big people like that as well that I don't think you'll have noticed too much, but they'll definitely, you was like, I know this voice from somewhere, and it's actually a different character that's in the show. But yeah, I mean, so repetition of voice actors isn't always a good thing, but
but it's kind of necessary.
You don't have a choice when there is that many characters in it.
Yeah,
it's a shame that they all sounded so similar in places.
I don't think it was that bad though. For me, mainly it was just the lack of emotion in a lot of it, and the
that was
poor accents.
Like you were saying with the nun, that they were just reading a script, and then the English voice actors where they were so try-harding. But other than that, I mean, I'd say that let it down a bit. Did the voice work? But it is made up It's made up a little bit by the art style, but it's made up a lot by the power of that story.
And yeah, I think the focus was so hard on the story that sometimes the other elements got forgotten a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. But I still think that because of the story, it's fantastic. Because at the end of the day, the story makes up most of it.
Mm.
If you can't write a good story, then, it's...
Shouldn't be a writer.
Well, there you go. But, yeah. Either way, overall, I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10, because we can't agree on it. 7.5 out of 10. I'd definitely say if you like your suspense, your thrillers, or just your crazy psychopaths, or your long drawn out series, really. 74 episodes. So it's a long one, not as long as One Piece or whatever else.
No, but can you imagine if Monster was as long as that? I'd give up by now.
But yeah, it's definitely a lot shorter than. I'd say it's a lot longer than stuff like Terror Resonance that we recently spoke of, which was only 11 episodes.
Or another that we just started.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it could have possibly been 60 episodes. But I wouldn't have made it anything other than that, really. Either way, I'd say check it out if that's what you're looking for. What about you? Would you say it's worth a watch?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say check it out. I think, because you love it and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So it's all going to depend on what you enjoy, so it is worth checking out.
So there you go, guys.
I've never yawned this much at any other time, only when we're podcasting.
Do I bore you that much?
I just can't help it. It's like I know I shouldn't be yawning, so it just happens all the time.
Either way, guys, that has been it for this week's podcast. Thanks for being with us today, and we'll see you another time. So
hope you enjoy the new camera, because Rob finally listened to me.
Hey! See you